Well, hello everyone and welcome. Thank you again for joining us today. I am Karina Sanin. I am the VP of Commercial here at OMC Group. We are very happy that you've joined us, and we really appreciate you taking the time to be here this morning or afternoon. This webinar is being recorded, and we will be sharing the full recording via email with everyone who registered. So I think that we can get started. Also, important to note, if you would like to schedule a follow-up conversation or receive personalized guidance, please feel free to reach out to me or to Filomena or to our marketing team and follow up to the webinar, and we will be more than happy to guide you. So let me take a moment to walk you through the agenda of the day. We will start with an overview about the United Arab Emirates. We will then present the different types of entities that are available in the UAE, so mainland, free zones, and offshore companies. We will talk about the leading free zones, and we will provide an overview on taxation, immigration, and foundations. Lastly, to tie it all together, we will cover our services in and from Dubai, and we will hopefully have some time for Q&A. So if we're not able to answer all the questions, we will follow up with you to answer them. So with that, let me pass it on to Filomena so we can get started.
Thank you, Karina. It's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Filomena. I am the Business Development Manager of OMC Dubai office. I work closely with international clients, supporting them with their business setup and ongoing operation within the UAE. Today, we'll be sharing a practical insight on doing business in the UAE, including key consideration, common structure, and regulatory aspects to keep in mind when entering in the market. I'm looking forward to walking you through the topic and answering to all your questions later in the session.
Thank you, Filomena. So let's get started. Let's talk a little bit about the UAE and why it's such a compelling hub for global investors. Before we dive into the topic, Filomena, can you share with us what you believe is the single biggest reason companies choose the UAE today?
Well, that's a great question. When clients ask me why the UAE continues to attract global investors, the single biggest reason I always highlight is its strategic position as a global business hub. But that goes far beyond geography. Yes, of course, geographically, the UAE sits at the crossroad of Europe, Asia, and Africa, which allows businesses to reach more than 2/3 of the world population within a range of only 8-hour flight. For companies that are managing regional headquarters, supply chain, or cross-border operation, this central positioning is extremely powerful. But what truly sets the UAE apart is how it has built an ecosystem around the location. The country has invested in the past 30 years heavily in world-class infrastructure, airports, port, logistic hub, digital connectivity, making the movement of people, goods, and capital highly efficient. In fact, either Dubai and Abu Dhabi are consistently recognized as a world leader when it comes to ease of travel and trade. Another key driver is the stable and forward-thinking regulatory environment. The UAE government has been very proactive in creating policies that attract foreign investment. We have seen major reform over recent years, including 100% foreign ownership in many sectors, long-term residency visa, and clear framework for corporate taxation and compliance. These give investors confidence and predictability, which are two things that are crucial when planning for the long term. Equally important, I would say also, is the business-friendly mindset. The UAE is not just open to international companies, but it actively welcomes them. Thanks to the free zone, which offers tailored licensing options and sector-specific ecosystem, companies of all sizes, from startup to multinational corporations, can enter the UAE market seamlessly and scale efficiently. Talent is another strong factor. The UAE attracts high, diverse, and international workforce. So company can hire top talent from all around the world while offering employees a safe and high quality lifestyle. Finally, I would also highlight the UAE long-term vision. The country is not focused on short-term gain, but it has a clear economic strategic aim to innovation, sustainability, technology, and diversification beyond traditional oil. For investors, this demonstrates that the UAE commitment, resilience, and long-term growth opportunity are available. So when you put all these factors together, strategic location, infrastructure, regulatory clarity, talent, and vision, the UAE become not just a place to do business, but a platform for which companies can grow regionally and globally. In fact, comparing to a few years ago, what we see most clearly is a shift in people motivation. Previously, people especially from Europe, used to come to Dubai mainly for tax reasons. Today, the trend is very different. More people are moving to Dubai and to the UAE with their family and their children, with the intention of settling long term and building their business and their life here also. So I would lastly highlight the security, which plays a fundamental role in this decision as well. As European and Italian by background, and I lived in London for many years, I can say from personal experience that I cannot imagine my life away from Dubai anymore, because of course the quality of the life here is extremely high.
Yeah, that makes sense, Filomena. And it's interesting to see how the UAE has also made huge leaps in terms of keeping competitiveness when it comes to structuring. So let's talk a little bit about the different types of structures in the UAE. What is the most common misconception investors have when choosing between mainland, free zone, and offshore? I mean, there are so many options available. What is the most common misconception?
So I would say what happened the most with our clients is that the typical inquiry that we receive is, I need a Dubai company. However, it is not always as straightforward as it seems. Proper planning and understanding of the regulatory and operational requirements are essential for long-term success. In fact, as you mentioned, UAE offers three main types of solutions for businesses looking to establish a presence in the country: mainland, free zone, and offshore. This choice is often underestimated, but it has a direct impact on operation, growth, taxation, compliance, and of course, long-term strategy. I would like to walk you through these three structures, clarify the difference, and most importantly, explain when and why each of them makes sense. Let's start with the mainland company, which are regulated by the Department of Economy and Tourism of each Emirates. The biggest advance of a mainland company is, of course, the full access to the UAE market. This means you can trade directly with local clients, work with government entities, operate anywhere in the UAE, and open a physical offices or let's say, a restaurant, an hairdressers, without any geographic restriction. Since recent reform, foreign investors can own 100% of most mainland businesses, which has removed one of the historical barriers and made this structure far more attractive. Mainland companies are ideal for business with local clients, retail, hospitality, construction, consulting, companies that in general need operational flexibility and scale. Then we come to the most famous instrument that we have in the UAE, which are the free zone. I would say that was the most successful and unique business innovation. There are over 40 free zones across the country, each designed to support specific industry, from technology, media, finance, logistics, healthcare, and more. The main appeal of free zone is that they are designed to attract international investor, entrepreneur, by offering a simplified, cost-efficient, and business-friendly environment. Key advantages, of course, include 100% foreign ownership, no need for a local partner, streamlined setup, company registration and licensing are faster and then bureaucratic comparing to the mainland. Industry-focused ecosystem, free zone cluster business in a similar sector, creating networking, collaboration, and innovation opportunity. And of course, flexibility in operation. You can hire staff locally or internationally and set up offices tailored to your business need, including flexi desk option, which we will talk later. However, when we talk about free zone, there are some important considerations to do. The free zone company cannot trade directly with the UAE mainland without additional license or a local distributor. Some activity like professional services or retail targeting might require additional approvals. So I would say this type of company are ideal for a business that trade internationally, export-oriented or digital, as they provide fast, cost-efficient, and strategic based in the UAE. Maybe we can do a few examples so that our audience can better understand practically when a free zone company can be useful for the clients. We can imagine Maria, an entrepreneur from Germany who wants to set up a commodity trading company in the UAE, focusing on metal and raw material across the Middle East and Asia. If she established her business in a free zone, such as Dubai Multi-Commodity Center, which is one of the most famous, we call it DMCC, she can own 100% of her company without any local partner. She benefits from a regulatory framework decided from trading activities. She can import and export commodity efficiently using the free zone logistics support and international network. The free zone also provides a dedicated business ecosystem with access to supplier, buyer, and industry events. The key consideration is that Marta cannot sell directly to the UAE mainland customer without additional license. But for a regional and global trading operation, the free zone offers efficiency, credibility, and cost effectiveness. Imagine the same scenario where she wants to trade directly with UAE market. In this case, she would have set up her company in mainland so that she can directly trade a product within UAE customer. Another example could be a consultant, for example, from the UK who wants to offer a management consulting service to his clients across Middle East and Europe. He can, for instance, setting up a company in IFZA free zone, retaining again full ownership of the business. He can operate from a professional free zone office with the flexible lease option. He can benefit from a simplified licensing and administrative process, which allow him to focus on building client relationship. He can also hire consultant locally or remotely, leveraging the free zone infrastructure and support service. For David, in this case, the free zone structure is ideal because his clients are mostly outside the UAE, we said in the UK, and it doesn't need to trade directly with the local market. It provides operational efficiency and, again, cost saving. It is important to highlight that both Mainland and free zone company offer eligibility for visa through the company. This means that investor, employees, and their family can legally reside and work inside the UAE under the company sponsorship. We will talk a little bit later about all the immigration system. Last option and the last type of structure that we have in the UAE is, of course, the offshore. Offshore companies are often misunderstood, so it's important to clarify their purpose. Unlike mainland or free zone company, offshore entities are not designed for a day-to-day business operation within the UAE. They are primarily used for asset protection, holding structure, and international business planning. Key characteristics of offshore company include no local office or physical presence required in the UAE. You will only need a registered agent like OMC. Of course, offshore company cannot trade directly within the UAE mainland or conduct any retail on onshore operation. They are mainly used for holding asset, intellectual property, real estate, or even for holding share in other companies. Confidentiality as asset protection are major advances, and they have a very simplified compliance and cost-effective setup for international investors. So as I said, offshore companies are ideal for high net worth individual and family office, investor who wants to hold multiple international company under one umbrella, business seeking asset protection, succession planning, or strategic international structuring. So just in short, offshore companies are strategic tool rather than operational businesses. They complement mainland and free zone structure by providing flexibility, security, and international efficiency. Last thing that I want to highlight is that unlike mainland and free zone company, offshore do not provide eligibility for UAE visa. This means that investor, employees, and their family cannot reside or work in the UAE under an offshore company sponsorship. Offshore entities are purely strategic or holding vehicle designed for asset protection or investment management. This distinction makes offshore company very different from the first two, and is critical consideration for anyone who plans to move to the UAE with their family or build a local operational presence.
Okay. That's great, Filomena. And as you mentioned, there are many, many options. Let's talk a little bit more in depth about the leading free zones. I know that there are over 40 free zones in the UAE. So what is the first question you would ask a client who's looking to set up in a free zone in the UAE?
Well, the first question is always what's the primary purpose of your business and who are your target clients? These two questions are crucial because the UAE, as we said, has over 40 free zones, and each of them is designed to serve a specific industry and business model. Choosing the right free zone can make your setup faster, more efficient, and strategically align with your growth goal. Let's say, for example, IFZA, the International Free Zone Authority, is a UAE-based, is a Dubai-based free zone, very well known for flexibility and cost effectiveness, making it an excellent choice for a startup or small to medium-sized businesses seeking a straightforward setup without any heavy administrative requirements. IFZA is particularly attractive for entrepreneurs who wants to become operational quickly while keeping the setup and ongoing cost low. It is especially suitable, for example, for activities such as management consultancy, e-commerce, project manager, or other service-based or digital businesses. Another very, very popular free zone is the DIFC, the Dubai International Financial Center, that provides a common law environment, which is especially attractive for financial services, corporate structure, and investors who want an internationally recognized legal framework. And DFC offers credibility, stability, for company dealing with the global clients or complex financial operation. For example, family office, asset manager, any other regulated activity. Very popular now is as well ADGM, Abu Dhabi Global Market, which is kind of the mirror of DIFC, but in Abu Dhabi. It has emerged as a premier hub for SPV and investment structure, offering a robust and efficient regulatory framework for clients looking to establish holding company, manage funds, or set up family office. It is as well common law foundation, business-friendly environment, and global connectivity make it attractive for both regional and international investors. I mentioned before the Dubai Multi-Commodity Center, DMCC, is the UAE largest free zone ecosystem. Is it based in Dubai? And is it particularly strong for commodity trading, tech, and startup? The advantage is not only just licensing, but it's the community, the network opportunity, and infrastructure that support the companies. Again, this is typical for any kind of trade from gold to grain, even corporate services provider are often licensed in the MCC. Finally, I would spend 2 words about the RAK ICC, which is the Ras Al Khaimah International Corporate Center. It is an offshore jurisdiction and is often overlooked, but it provides an excellent option for international businesses, holding company as well, and investors who want a streamlined, cost-effective structure. It is especially attractive for companies that want flexible ownership, strong confidentiality, and minimal administrative burden, while leveraging the UAE strategic location. So the first step is always understanding the client's business model and objectives. From there, we guide them to the free zone, mainland, or offshore solution that maximize, of course, operational efficiency, legal advance, growth potential, and so on. Choosing the right jurisdiction isn't just about cost or speed, but it's about aligning the structure with your business strategy, your clients, and your long-term vision. That's why we always provide a tailor-made solution for every client that wants to enter into the UAE market.
I think that's really important, Filomena. You really described it perfectly. I think the most important thing is always understanding what the client is trying to achieve. So let's talk a little bit about taxation. And this is something that has changed in the past 2 or 3 years since the introduction of the corporate tax in the UAE. So when clients first hear about this corporate tax and the VAT in the UAE, what are some of their main concerns? What concerns do they usually raise?
I would say two main questions. How much will they pay, and how it will impact their business operation. Of course, these two questions are always in our client's mind. But to clarify, corporate tax was introduced in June 2023 as part of the UAE effort to align with international standards, including OECD requirements, and also to ensure that the UAE remains a credible and compliant business hub while continuing to attract international investors. Under the new law, all the profit up to 375,000 dirhams, which is about just over $100,000 per year, are taxed at 0%, supporting small and medium-sized businesses. Profit above this threshold are taxed at 9%. We are talking about net profit, not revenue. Personal income tax still remain 0%. And it's important to highlight that every company must register for corporate tax within 90 days from the incorporation, regardless of size or profit level. Lastly, all companies must file an annual corporate tax return, even if their taxable income is 0. When it comes to VAT, value-added tax, it has been applied at 5% and affect most goods and services, but is low, predictable, easy for businesses to manage. Business must register for VAT when the taxable supplies and import exceed 375,000 dirhams, again, about $100,000, over a 12-month period, or this threshold is expected to be reached in the next 30 days. Registered business are required to submit the VAT quarterly. I just want to say something. The key message that I always share with our clients that if this tax measure reinforce the UAE global standing while preserving a highly attractive business environment. With effective tax planning and strategic use of the free zone, mainland, and offshore structure, the companies can legally optimize their tax exposure and focus on sustainable growth. Lastly, the UAE tax reform are not a barrier to investment. They are a signal of stability, regulatory, and maturity. And again, international regulatory we're asking for that. So I would say that this implementation gave to lots of investors even more confidence for people that want to operate and expand in the region.
Absolutely, Filomena. I couldn't agree more. And going back to what you mentioned a few slides back, with regards to immigration, you mentioned that there has been a shift on why people are looking at the UAE as a possible place to live. A lot of people talking about immigration and residency. So, what are the some of the issues that investors should consider when they're planning to relocate or bring staff to the UAE? So, be it with their families or for their employees, what are some of the key things to consider?
Yeah, so as I said, what we have noticed is that comparing to 5, 10 years ago, entrepreneurs were coming to the UAE, especially I mean from Europe, from South America, because it was a 0% tax regime. What we see today is that people come to Dubai or to Abu Dhabi or in general to the UAE to live here, to grow their children here, to bring their family here. And as I said, has implemented a very business-friendly immigration system that makes very straightforward for investor, employees, and their family to live and work in the country. There are various types of visa. The most common one is, of course, the investor or partner visa, which is available to owner of mainland and free zone companies. This visa allows business owner to reside in the UAE while managing their company, and they can also, of course, sponsor their families. We have the employment visa or work permit for employees sponsored by a UAE company, whatever mainland or free zone. And as well, it allows individuals to live and work legally within the country. We have the dependent visa for family members such as spouse or children. And they can be sponsored by under a main visa holder. So for instance, I have one investor who who has a partner visa within a DFC company, and he wants to sponsor his family, so spouse and children. In this case, the investor will hold a partner visa and his family will hold dependent visa. Lastly, which is becoming very famous, there is the golden visa, which is a long-term residency 5 or 10 years for investor, entrepreneur, specialized professional, and outstanding talent. It is important to remind that only mainland and free zone company offer visa eligibility. This means that investor, employees, and their family can reside and work legally within the UAE under these two business structures. Offshore is exempt. Some consideration about the visa is that it are typically required to be renewed every 2-3 years, depending on the type of visa. It allows, of course, access to healthcare, banking, educational services. Overall, I would say immigration policies are designed to support foreign investment, entrepreneurship, and the talent retention, making the UAE not only a business hub, but also a livable and secure environment for families. A key feature on the UAE Golden Visa, which, as I said, has been growing in popularity as it grants long-term residency, which is typically 5 to 10 years. And this is specifically for investor, entrepreneur, and specialized professional. with the Golden Visa, you can live and work within the UAE, as well as sponsor your family member. And of course, it provides stability and flexibility for long-term planning. The easiest way to obtain the Golden Visa is, of course, through real estate investment. An individual must invest in a property worth 2 million dirhams or more, which is about $500,000. Another way could be, so this is absolutely the easier and straightforward. You buy a property, you pay down 2 million dirhams, and you get the Golden Visa in very, very short period of time. Then you have the option to go through public investment. You should invest at least 10 million dirhams in UAE-based business investment funds or public investment. And there are some specific categories of people that could also apply for it. These are specialized talent and professional, including medical, engineer, creative talent, people that overall are recognized international or locally for their expertise. Outstanding student, those with exceptional academic performance, who have been recognized in competition related to science, technology, or innovation, and as well outstanding individual or pioneer, individual who have earned awards, patents, official recognition from significant contribution or achievement. So this is overall an overview of the immigration system. Of course, we are always happy to discuss with our clients time to time their specific need.
Thank you, Filomena, and thank you for expanding a little bit on the Golden Visa. It's certainly gained popularity in the past few years, so I'm glad that you covered it. Let's talk a little bit about UAE foundations. And before we go into the details, why do you think more and more families and international investors are turning to foundations today, especially in the UAE?
See, the key appeal is, of course, control and clarity. More family international investors are turning to foundation in the UAE because they offer a unique combination of succession planning, asset protection, and governance, which are advantages that traditional company or even trust often cannot fully provide. When I say control and clarity, why? Because a foundation allows the funder to define exactly how assets are managed and distributed, ensuring wealth passes according to their wishes. This is particularly important for family who wants to avoid a default inheritance rule under the Sharia or other local law. This is very important when we talk about UAE. Because Sharia law can potentially make things complicated when when you need to transfer the asset from a generation to the next one. By using a foundation, the funder can protect their family asset and ensure a smooth transfer across generations through a common law framework. So this, I think, is one of the key points. So common law versus Sharia law, clarity and control over the asset. Another significant advantages is, of course, asset protection. Asset placed in foundation are legally separated from personal liabilities or business risk, providing a high level of security. For example, if a family owns multiple investment or business interests, placing them under a foundation ensures that these assets are shielded from potential disputes or creditor claims. Foundation also provide a strong governance and flexibility. The founder can appoint a board or a council to manage the foundation according to their rules, through, of course, the bylaws. It can decide how beneficiaries receive distribution and even set conditions for how assets are used. This level of structure gives both the founder and the beneficiary confidence that the asset will be managed as intended long after the founder steps back. Let me give you a practical example. Imagine a family with multiple business investment across Europe and Middle East. They want to ensure that their wealth is passed on their children exactly as they wish, while also protecting from potential legal claim or local inheritance law. By establishing a UAE foundation, they can place company shares, real estate, or other investment into the foundation, appoint a professional board to manage them, and clearly define how distributions are made. This provides stability, confidentiality, and of course, long-term security. Foundation can also be used for a charitable purpose or philanthropy, making them a flexible solution for individuals who want to leave a lasting social impact while keeping governance and control over the asset. Another important point is that a foundation in the UAE complement other corporate structures such as free zone or offshore company. So while companies are operational entities focused on running business, foundations focus on long-term wealth management, succession planning, and legal certainty. Together, they provide a comprehensive framework for investors who want to operate, grow, and protect their wealth and their asset efficiently in the country. In terms of jurisdiction, it is possible to incorporate foundation in ADGM, DIFC, and RAC ICC. Each of these provides a common law framework, international standard, and a robust governance mechanism. These make, of course, UAE Foundation particularly attractive for both regional and international investors. For modern family entrepreneur, this feature makes UAE Foundation an ideal tool to safeguard wealth, ensure smooth succession, and plan for the future with the confidence. Last thing I want to say is that the way I see the foundation in UAE, it's more than just a legal structure. It's a strategic solution. They provide peace of mind, stability, ability to protect and bust your wealth in the way that align perfectly with the founder vision and intention. So in a global environment where asset protection, succession planning, and governance are increasingly important, foundation, of course, offer a modern and secure and flexible solution.
Absolutely, absolutely, Filomena. Thank you. And now we've laid the groundwork. So let's talk a little bit about how we can help our clients through our services in OMC from the UAE and to the UAE. So let's talk a little bit about that, Filomena. When a client approaches us about expanding or setting up in the UAE, what are the different steps that you recommend they take before they embark in this journey?
So the first step is always, as I said many times during the presentation, is understanding their business goal and operational need. This is our first aim for us. Why? Because this helps us to recommend and to guide the clients for the right structure, whatever it is a mainland company, a free zone, an offshore, or even a foundation. So once we establish the client's business goal and operational needs, we can provide end-to-end support. We guide the clients through company incorporation, visa, immigration services, accounting, corporate tax and VAT compliance, governance structure, banking setup. So our role is to make sure that the clients can operate in the UAE seamlessly while stay fully compliant, and they can optimize their business structure. So our goal is essentially to take care of all the administrative and regulatory complexity, so that our clients can actually focus on growing their business and establish a strong presence in the region.
Thank you, Filomena. You've definitely shared a lot of information, and I am sure that there are many questions. Again, we'll try to answer as many as possible today, but if we're not able to get to your questions, we will follow up via email, and we will answer them. We'll also share the presentation for your reference. So with that, let's get started with some questions. Let me see here. Okay, here's one that's I think has repeated. Yeah. So let's start with this one. Can a free zone company open a corporate bank account easily in the UAE? This is one that we get a
Wow.
lot.
Yeah, we receive this question quite often. So, yes, a free zone a free zone can, of course, open a corporate bank account within the UAE. However, and I have to be, 100% open, as in any other jurisdiction, the process is not always as straightforward or immediate. Um, why, of course, account opening is very common and feasible. The UAE banks apply stringent compliance, KYC, and AML check, and each application is reviewed on case-by-case basis. UAE banks open corporate account for free zone companies in the same way they do for mainland entities, provided that all standard requirements are, of course, met. One of the key requirements is that at least one of the director or signatory in the bank is UAE resident. And that's why, for example, for offshore company, for example, RAC-ACC, the process is generally a little bit more complex. But in general, for mainland and free zone, the successful rates are very high. As OMC, we support all our clients by working with all the documentation. We have we work with the major bank in the UAE. So our preference for mainland and free zone company would be for UAE bank. While, as I said, for offshore structure, we collaborate with the reputable bank in the UK and Mauritius to also provide alternative solution in case of rejection from the UAE bank. So depending on the company structure, activity, and compliance profile, the corporate bank accounts opening process can take approximately, I would say, 1 to 3 months.
Okay. Now that you mentioned the time, how long does it typically take to incorporate a company in Dubai? Let's jump to that one.
Yeah.
Again, it's one that we get a lot.
So the time depends, of course, on the type of company and from the jurisdiction. And of course, we always assume that full KYC documents are provided, and we have the green light from our compliance department. I would say for the free zone is typically 1 to 2 weeks, depending also from the free zone. Some of them are quicker, some of them they tend to be a little bit longer, but 1 to 2 weeks for free zone. For mainland company, it can take 1 to 6 weeks. Sometimes when I say 6 weeks, it's just because certain type of activity that requires a mainland company requires as well external approval from the Department of Economic Development. So if it's a simple one, 1 week. If it's more complex case, can take up to 6 weeks. Offshore company is the quickest one, 1 to 5 business days. We always say, assuming that full KYC is received.
Okay. Yes, of course. That will definitely depend on how quickly we can get that information from our clients. There's another one here. So, okay, this one's a good one. Which structure is most suitable for holding assets or asset protection purposes in the UAE?
Okay, I would say offshore and the specialized structure are generally the most suitable in the UAE. Among these, definitely RAK ICC is a preferred choice for international asset holding. RAK ICC companies, as I said, are designed for investment, intellectual properties, real estate, even estate planning. And they offer privacy, limited liability, streamlined compliance framework, and quick setup, as I just mentioned. Since RAK ICC entities are not permitted to conduct business within the UAE, they provide a clear separation between operational risk and held asset, making them an ideal solution for cross-border investment and global asset protection at a competitive setup and maintenance cost, of course. So for asset, I would say for asset or investment that are UAE focused or require local presence, structured within the financial free zone like ADGM or DFC are the most suitable one. While if the assets are international, I would rather suggest RAK ICC. So yes, I would say RAK ICC for cost-efficient international asset, and ADGM or DFC for UAE-based holding.
Excellent. I think we have time for one more question, and I think you covered this in the presentation, but maybe we can expand a little because we do have a few questions on this as well. So, is 100% foreign ownership fully allowed in all sectors?
No. So the country corporate law reform came into effect on June 2021. With that reform, I would say that 100% foreign ownership is allowed in most sectors. Of course, foreign investor can now fully own their companies without the requirement of a local Emirati partner, making the UAE one of the most investor-friendly jurisdictions globally. And I want to say also that before June 2021, this is one of the drives for the UAE in order to create the free zone infrastructure. So before in mainland, before it was mandatory to have a local partner. While in free zone, always 100% foreign ownership was allowed. So since 2021, in most sectors, even in mainland now, investor can have 100% foreign ownership, except for certain activity. For example, security services, defense and military related activities, certain oil, gas, upstream energy activities, strategic telecommunication and utilities, or even other activities that require special government on federal level approvals. So in this sector, ownership might be restricted, and the additional condition might apply. But again, it depends on the nature of the activity and relevant authority regulation. Outside of this specific exception, 100% foreign ownership is fully allowed and commonly implemented for most commercial, professional, industrial, and especially service-based activities across the whole UAE.
Excellent. Excellent, Filomena. Thank you again for that. We do have a few more questions, but we are out of time, unfortunately. So we will get back to everyone in follow-up to the webinar, and we will answer those questions. Thank you again, Filomena, for your personalized support. We're very happy to have you as part of our Dubai team, and I'll let you close it off.
Thank you, Karina, and thank you everyone for joining us today. It has been a pleasure sharing insight on the UAE business landscape and opportunities for family and investor in this region. I hope that the discussion has provided the clarity and the practical guidance for anyone looking to establish, grow, or protect their business and wealth inside the UAE. At OMC, our mission is, of course, to support our clients every step on the way, and we look forward to connecting with many of you and helping you make the most of the opportunity that the UAE offer. Thank you again, and have a great day, night, afternoon, everyone.
Thank you for joining us.